Hey Karen. Hey Susan. Sorry, I was trying to set the live up on the other one too. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this cord. There we go. And I'm trying not to knock everything over. There we go. That's better. The weather, the weather in Mississippi is hot. Very hot, actually. My day is going good. Hot but good. Third shirt today. Um, it's been a long day already. Thank you, Billy Joe, for the gifts. Um, well, it started out after I fed this morning. I had to go try to find hydraulic filters for the tractor. There's a place I can get them online, but they're in Colorado. And if I ordered them from them, they said 2 weeks. So one of the filters is extremely hard to find to begin with. And even if I call the tractor dealership, they don't have it most of the time. Thank you, Miss Paulette, for the gifts. So I called around all around town, and we finally got the part number cross-referenced to a different manufacturer filter or whatever. And we finally found one. There was one in the whole freaking area. And it was 45 minutes from here. So I had to go get that. But of course, that place didn't have the second hydraulic filter. So I ended up having to go to another place to get the second hydraulic filter, but it's a little easier to find. It would have been less expensive had I been able to order them online. But again, I would have had to wait 2 weeks, and I need them now. And so anyway, it was, that took up most of the morning. I think I got back here at like 12. And then I had to change the filters. And my filter wrench broke on the first filter. So I had to go buy a new filter wrench. Went and got that. Got the first filter off. Got to the second filter, and the new filter wrench broke on the second filter because it was so tight, I guess, or whatever. So I ended up having to use a ratchet strap to get the filter off. And needless to say, it was a expensive day and a long day already because it was hot. And anybody that's ever changed hydraulic filters and drained hydraulic fluid in a tractor knows how long it takes and how much is involved. One of the filters, the one that's hard to find, is over $200 just for the filter. The other one's like 80 bucks. And then it takes 15 gallons of hydraulic fluid to change it. It's not like changing your oil and it's 5 or 6 quarts or whatever. It takes 15 gallons of hydraulic fluid. So, yep, that's Uno back there. No, that's Lanahe right now. That's his butt standing there right now, but Uno's out there. Yeah, it's not cool. It's not 68 here. I wish it was 68 here. Hey, Emily, how are you? Thank you, Miss Teresa, for the gifts. Yeah, he's getting big. He's getting big. So, needless to say, I forgot that I have a PMF treatment at 7 o'clock for somebody. So, I have to go do that at 7 o'clock. Luckily, it's right down the road. So we're going to have to break treats up into tomorrow and all that good jazz. Of course, Dottie was actually coming over here to help me with treats tonight. And she might be on the live right now. I don't know. Because Heather is at her friend's house with two of her friends from high school. They get together. They try to get together every year. Um, Last year, I can't remember if we did anything last year or not. Year before last, we went to I think Alabama or something. I can't remember. And usually it's girls and husbands both. This year the girls are just doing something because one of the husbands couldn't do something and somebody was going to be out of town. I don't remember. But so anyway, Heather's gone there, and it's here. It's here local. I mean, it's 20 minutes from here or something. But they are going to have their girls' weekend at her friend's house from high school. So, well, yeah, I know PFHA is giving 20,000 for amateurs at nationals. Yes, I do know that. And it's not for amateurs at nationals. It's broken down into like high point winners in amateur for the whole year in different divisions and things like that. That's what it's for. But yes, I did know that. So even if somebody's not competing at nationals, they still could qualify for that if they have enough points or whatever. Oh, and it's not 20K for one person. It's broke up into a whole bunch of different things. So it's basically it's basically based on the entire year show season. So no, Heather and I have talked. We were planning on taking Dorado to nationals this year, and we have decided not to go to nationals for several reasons. Um, One being it's fairly expensive, um, and then number two, we have two mares that are due to have babies in October. Nationals is the 30th of September through the 4th of October. So, and Isadora is due on the 14th. And last time Isadora had a baby, she went 9 days early. So we don't want to take a chance of being out of town at nationals if she has a baby. So, if she goes early, rather. So we don't want her having a baby. And she probably won't have the baby early because we're not going to nationals. But we've decided against that because that's the reason. That's the main reason we decided against it. Because we just don't want to take a chance of her going into labor while we're out of town, because that's 14 hours from here. So it's not like if we were at Germantown, we're 45 minutes away or anything. Even at that rate, if she went in labor, we probably wouldn't make it back in time. But 14 hours, definitely not. So we're just going to err on the side of caution, because she's due the 14th. Hatana's due the 24th. So, but we are going to the Illinois State Fair next month, and we're already signed up for that. So we are going to go to that next month and we're planning to take Dorado and Moonshine. And we have Miss Uno signed up as well. As long as she's doing good, then we'll go ahead and take her too. So she did really well in Louisiana for being as nervous as she is, especially having a baby there. But she did really well. We tried to post. I know I've sent announcements out, and I think Heather posted it on a couple like Discord and stuff, what everybody won in Louisiana. But we did very well. Dorado did extraordinarily well. And in fact, he did better than I even expected him to do. So No, the points, a horse earns points for every show they're in. They keep those points forever. Like 10 years from now, you can look Dorado's points up and it'll show, you can find all his points for his whole show career. That being said, the points they earned this year qualify them for nationals this year. Starting after October, when nationals is over with, he will have to requalify for next year's nationals. Um, so, like the Christmas show they have in Katy or whatever, that's a 2026 show. So he would go there and he could qualify. The the good thing is he only needs 20 points in each division that he shows in. So, like, we have what they call the amateur division. And so, for him to compete in amateur pheno at nationals, then throughout the whole show year, he has to accumulate 20 points in the amateur pheno division. Well, if he goes to one show and he wins first place in one class, that's 12 points. If he rides in the championship and wins, that's another 12. So that's 24 right there. He can qualify in one show for nationals each year. Um, but if he rides in the open division, which is it's mostly the trainers ride in that division, but some amateurs ride in that division. I typically always ride in that division, and I'm an amateur, so I ride in the open division a lot. So Dorado's qualified already for open and amateur this year, and it won't be any problem to qualify him next year. But as far as his points, they stay with him the rest of his life. It just they don't. He can't say, "Oh, well, I qualified last year, so I'm automatically qualified next year." He has to qualify each year. So, and the same with Moonshine or any of the others. I mean, Uno's only been to one show all year, and she's qualified for nationals. So, um, it is what it is. The reason she qualified is because she had first place in the or I'm sorry, yes, first place in the amateur division, performance amateur. She had first place, but it was a two-judge show. So since it was a two-judge show, instead of 12, she gets 24 points. So she's qualified for that class. Um, and then she got first place in the open performance division. Same thing, two judges. Um, so, and then like Emma, it's different for youth. If a youth rides in a class, those points go towards the youth, not towards the horse. So, like Emma got a first place, two judges, that's 24 points. Okay. That means that's what Emma has is 24 points. And for a youth to ride at nationals, they have to have 20 points in each division that they ride in, basically. Um, but like Emma's, I mean, we're not going to nationals this year anyway, and I expect her to be qualified next year for nationals too. So next year she'll be riding on her own. So. Yeah, Emma did a good job, and she actually got to ride Moonshine a little bit by herself. We had a lead line on Moonshine, but it was really long and it was loose. I mean, unless he did something wrong, we didn't mess with it. Emma actually rode him and directed him and all of that, and she did really well. So she did very well. I don't know if Emma will ride Moonshine next year in nationals or not. I don't even know that Moonshine will go to nationals next year. I mean, he could, I guess, but if things go right, Dorado will get to go next year, and hopefully Uno will get to go next year. We're not breeding Uno this year. We decided not to breed Uno this year. Um, since she had the baby this year, we decided to wait and not breed her this year. So she won't be having a baby next year. So hopefully she's going to get to go to nationals next year. Um, and it just depends. It's hard for us to take three horses to. It's hard to take two horses to nationals, much less three. Um, the the stalls themselves are, I don't even know, $360 or something like that per horse, just for a stall for the week. And then you got classes that are hundred and something dollars a class, and then you got championships that are $200 and all of that stuff. So I don't go on fly. So I really don't know um, that more than two horses would go to nationals. So, and if we had been going this year, only one was going. Dorado would have been the only one going this year. So nothing against Moonshine. Moonshine's qualified for nationals, but Moonshine didn't do really well last year at nationals, because they have like these huge TVs that are around the arena and all that kind of stuff, and they're constantly playing like advertisements for different um, farms or whatever, and then they're also showing the show. So, a horse rounds the corner and then the lights flash on that TV and it changes from an advertisement to a horse riding in the show or whatever. And he really got spooked at that last year quite a bit at nationals. So, and it didn't seem to bother Dorado last year at nationals. So, um, I haven't seen Dorado spook at much of anything. So, yeah, Moonshine, I don't want to say he's an easy rider. Everybody thinks he's an easy rider, and everybody wants to, oh, I want to ride Moonshine, I want to ride Moonshine. Moonshine is a good horse, and he's not hard to ride, but he's not a horse that you just want to stick somebody on that's a beginner or something like that. He's not that type horse. Um, he does really good with kids, seems to. Like I said, we haven't turned him a loose on him without a line. But he has a tendency to spook at really weird things that you don't think anything about. And sometimes when he spooks, he's hard to handle. Um, I don't know how else to put it. He doesn't buck, or at least he's never bucked with me. But when he gets spooked at something, if he gets extremely spooked at something, he can be hard to handle. And he's almost tossed me a couple times. And he's not somebody that I'm just going to put anybody on, and let them just ride. So I wouldn't say he's an easy rider. I would say that he's easy to control as long as he doesn't spook. I don't know how to put it. That's about as good as I can put it without. I don't want to talk bad about him because he's not a bad horse. He's a good horse, actually. And he's gotten really a lot better than what he was. Last year in 2024 at Germantown, he placed well. At the same time, he spooked almost every night at something in the arena. This year at Germantown, he didn't spook one time in the arena. So that's a big improvement for him. Last year in Louisiana, he spooked at a lot of stuff. This year, he didn't spook near as much. He did spook at a couple things, but nothing like he did last year. So he's getting better at it. It's just going to take time for him. So. Yeah, it costs a lot to show at nationals, a whole lot. And even some horse shows can get expensive. Um, we were we were lucky this year. We placed high enough at Germantown that it helped pay for the trip, and then we're going to the Illinois State Fair, and as long as we place well there, it won't cost us much at all. Um, so, because those type shows, they pay out money as far as for placings and things like that. Um, Other type shows don't. So, I mean, it just depends. Eldorado always wants to help open gates and doors and everything else. Hey, Twin Wolves in Scotland. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? Y'all hanging out? Mhm. Yeah, Eldorado's a Houdini, that's for sure. This one right here thinks he is. He'll mess with those chains on the gates till he gets one of them loose usually. Um, but then he has trouble with the other one. Like right now, I don't know what are you messing with? Oh, a clip. It's a clip on the gate. Yeah, Uno did good at the show. Um, she was a little nervous about Lenahe, but like the first time we went to the class, we brought him up there. I rode her a little bit in the warm-up area, and Heather stood out there with Lenahe, and everything seemed to be okay. And then during the class, she took him around, and he was on the rail. I posted a picture of him on the rail looking at his mama riding. Um, and she could see him and stuff, and she did pretty good. Um, she passed it over the board. Actually, she did really well over the board. And, she did good. She was a little fast, but she's also out of shape and was nervous. So she was a little faster than what I would like her to be. But overall, she did good in that class. And then later that afternoon, I wasn't going to put her in another class. And then me and Heather talked for a little while, and we decided to go ahead and try her in the amateur class later in the afternoon. So same thing, I got on her, and as soon as I got on her, she was hyped up, but she usually is unless I can lunge her or something first. And Heather had Lenahe, and they were in front of us, and so we went back over there. Same thing we did before. We went back over there. She had Lenahe standing by the warm-up area. I was riding her in the warm-up area. And we were, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes from the class getting started or whatever. And I was just warming her up a little bit and walking her around and stuff. And she lost sight of Lenahe. And when she lost sight of Lenahe, she kept trying to go out a gate at the warm-up arena. And, I was, trying to redirect her attention and stuff. And finally, she just turned her head and started out the gate. And if a horse tries to run off on you, there's a thing called, it's like an emergency stop. Basically, you drop one rein or let loose of one rein, and you pull your other rein back to your pocket. So it turns their head sideways like this. And typically, when you do that, they will spin in circles, and they stop because it kind of makes them a little bit dizzy, and they'll stop. typically. Well, she started back, didn't want to stop. I pulled her around to get her to stop. She had her head this way, looking back at me. In fact, her mouth was touching my leg, but she was running straight the other way towards the barn. And I couldn't get her stopped. I tried stopping her the other way. I tried everything I could to get her stopped. And we were coming up on a big old hill that goes down like this towards the barn. And I finally decided I'm just going to let her run down the hill. I'm going to let her turn her head and go down the hill. So when I went to let her turn her head to go down the hill, she spun her head this way. So she was still running sideways down the hill. Then we get down the hill, and she almost runs into the building. One of the trainers is inside that's across the hall from us. He heard the commotion, me trying to get her stopped. As he's coming out to come around, she's coming this way into the barn. She almost run over all his chairs sitting out in his sitting area, almost run over him. And as we turn in the barn, as soon as she gets in the barn, she looks at her stall, and then she realizes that Lanai's not in the stall. And her ears popped up. I said, that's right, I told you he was up there. And she turned around and made a beeline back to the arena looking for Lanai. And then when she saw him, she was good. We go in the class, and she lost sight of him because Heather had to take him from the warm-up area around the side of the arena. So she lost sight of him a minute. So she goes into class, and she starts spinning circles in the class. I'm trying to get her to go straight. She's spinning circles, just steady spinning circles. Finally, Lanai comes up to the rail, and he hollers at her. And when he hollered at her, it's like a button clicked, and she just started going straight. And she went through her class and did everything she was supposed to do. So it was interesting anyway. But I couldn't blame her. I know she was nervous about the whole baby thing. And that's why I'm hoping that by us not breeding her for next year, once Lanai's weaned, she can get her mind kind of right on doing what she needs to do. But the way it looks right now, he's going to go to Illinois with us next month. So, but we're going to try some stuff here too, to where she rides where she can't see him, and see if that'll help. So, well, happy birthday, Brianna. Hey, Sonia, how are you? Yep, Emma did do fantastic. Hey, Bryson, how are you? And Moonshine, he did good Saturday, but he wasn't, before we even went to the show, he wasn't feeling his up to par. We think he might have gotten kicked by another horse or something before we left to go out of town. I rode him here at the house on Sunday before we went out of town, and he acted like he was sore from, like somebody had kicked him or something, and he limped a little bit here at the house. So we didn't ride him anymore. I didn't ride him anymore. And then we went to Louisiana, and we got there, Wednesday? Was it Wednesday? No, it was Thursday. We got there Thursday evening. And then Friday, he didn't ride until Friday evening. And even then, you could still tell he was a little sore and wasn't feeling his best. And then he rode 4 classes on Saturday. He did good, but he didn't do what he normally does. And you could just tell you could tell something was off. So we did some PMF treatments and stuff. And then Sunday morning, we put him in a class, and he did good in that class. But honestly, he should have won the class, and he didn't, because he just wasn't what he normally is. So we decided not to show him anymore Sunday, not because we didn't want him to lose or come in second or third or whatever. We didn't show him anymore because we knew he wasn't feeling up to par, and we just wasn't going to make him show in the heat and stuff. Now He seems like he's doing better now. He's been outside every day since we got home. Um, he's been going out with Dorado. Today, Dorado stayed in, but he's out today with the other boys, and he seems to be doing better. Um, when I've seen him out in the pasture running, he seems to be doing fine. So I think it was just a matter of, I got dust on this screen. Hang on, y'all. But he still did well. Um, and then Dorado, I don't even know what to say about Dorado. He did excellent. Um, he was complimented all weekend by different people. Um, people said that he had changed so much over the last 6 months, and they never dreamed he would change that much. So he got a lot of compliments. He did very well in the show, and he topped the week off by winning a championship in the Open against a trainer and another Pheno horse. The same Pheno horse that beat him the day before, Saturday, in the championship, he beat that horse Sunday in the championship. So, I mean, he's doing very well. How do we make them shiny? It's just food, I guess. I mean, they get good food. I mean, they all eat either Nutrina or Purina, depending on the horse. Uno and Infinito both eat what they call Ultima from Purina. And then pretty much all the other horses eat Nutrina Proforce fuel. And then they take some supplements and stuff like that, but not a lot of them. And they eat good hay, so. Anytime a horse has good nutrition, they're normally going to be shiny. They're going to slick out in the summertime. They're going to grow nice winter coats in the winter, but in the summertime they're going to slick out, and they just are going to look shiny normally. And we don't body clip our horses, so. Okay, I'll keep an eye out, Billy Joe. Thank you. Well, we try to keep up with all the horses and their health and everything, so. And sometimes you have to fight to keep weight on horses and stuff, depending on the horse. A lot of ours are very easy type keepers. Uno's not as easy a keeper when she has a baby, but she's doing really good. But we keep an eye on her. And then she takes some ulcer medicine and stuff like that to help her. Same with Infinito. He takes ulcer medicine, and that's why they're on a separate feed than everybody else. Because we know they have some types of ulcers, and it's the feed we give them has an ulcer medication in the feed itself, but then on top, or a stomach medication in the feed itself. But then on top of that, we give them an ulcer medication as well. So, and yes, it can get rather expensive sometimes. The pregnant mamas are doing good in the heat. In fact, they're in the shade right now. They are, I don't know, probably can't see them, but they're at the very back of the pasture down there in the shade. Because they know that I'm in the barn, so they know that they're going to come in at some point. So right now they're in the shade, but they're doing good. They got the boys out there with them. Well, they got the geldings out there with them today. And Diamante's out there, as well as El Dorado, Moonshine, and Donnie. And then the three girls. The stallions, all three stallions are in today. Moonshine has been going in the back pasture with Dorado, and Sabado has been going in the front with the girls because, well, number one, he can't breed the girls because they're all already bred, and number two, we felt like Sabado is, sorry, let me turn this off. All these co-host things keep popping up. People trying to, I don't know, co-host on a live or something. Sabado is the type horse. He's not gonna start something and pick on another horse or nothing like that. He kind of keeps his distance from everybody, and he's kind of a loner when he's outside. He's been going out with the girls and El Dorado and Donnie, and in fact, he stayed out with them while we were out of town, and he does really well with them. They don't bother him. He don't bother them. Now, if he gets too close to them, Mira, I call her the enforcer. Any of the geldings that get too close to the pregnant girls, Mira is the enforcer. She runs them off. First, Hatana will run them off. Hatana will spin and kick at them or something to run them off. But then if they come back, it's Mira's job to run them off. And Mira then takes it upon herself to chase them off every time they come back. I think she's trying to work her way up to be second behind Hatana. But honestly, Isadora comes in after Hatana, but honestly, watching them in the pasture, I think Isadora is more of the boss than Hatana is. And because when they go out every day, when these horses go out, I can let Hatana out, I can let Mira out, and both of those horses will stand in this hall until Isadora goes out. So they don't, you know, if one of them was higher than Isadora, they wouldn't wait on Isadora. So that tells me that Isadora is kind of the boss out there, but you got Hatana and Mira that are enforcers out there. So you're welcome, Chris. And then the other thing that's changed out there, the other cows are in the back, but up front, because we don't want her or one of the bull trying to breed her, Bernice is up front. Well, Bernice is out with the horses. Well, now I think Bernice thinks she's one of the girls because she hangs out with the pregnant girls all day. So, and then every evening when all the horses come in, Bernice comes up here and waits on me to feed her in the evening time. So, no, we're not going to do treats tonight. We were planning on doing treats, but I neglected to look at the calendar today. And I have a PMF therapy session scheduled for 7 o'clock down the road. So I knew I wouldn't have time to do treats. So we're going to do treats tomorrow afternoon. We're just going to go live again tomorrow afternoon and do treats. So, is he bothering you? Is he? Well, it's your son. She gets so mad at she gets so mad at him sometimes. Oh yeah, she used to let him do whatever he wanted to do, but now she done clamped down on him now. No, if you already got treats, they'll be on there tomorrow afternoon. When I went live, though, nobody had bought treats when I went live. What is this? Sorry, y'all. Okay. Yep, that's Uno and Lanaje. Oh, if you bought them earlier in the week with hay, then yes, they'll be on there tomorrow. Yeah, he's getting real tall and spicy. Oh, I'm sorry, Gail. I just now saw that you did get them. So did Lori and Jillian. It looks like um, earlier today. I guess my phone was set on something else because it wasn't showing them. Um, we give them different kinds of treats. Some of them are Purina. Some of them are like a carb balance treat, um, or they call them smart carbs treats. Um, some of them are Baker Bites, and then is that the name? I think it's called Baker Bites. And then there's another one, something Miss Pastures or something like that. Just different kinds. Certain horses get different kinds. Um, some horses only like certain kinds of treats. And then we have some horses that we don't want them to have too many carbs, so they get the smart carbs. Uno there gets whatever kind of treat she wants. Because she's nursing a baby, so she gets whatever kind of treat she wants. And we tried the other day. I decided that, well, let's see, I don't know. I can't remember days, but one morning, it was either Monday or Tuesday, can't remember. Anyway, one morning at 4 something, we got a call from Jerica. She was on the cameras, and Uno was out of her stall. Uno was out of her stall and in Hatana's stall with Lanae in Hatana's stall. So we went back and looked at cameras after I got them back in their stalls. And apparently, I don't know, apparently when we let Hatana in, I had gone in the other door to put her feed in and didn't latch it. Well, Hatana never tries to get out. I can't tell you how many times I've left her stall unlocked and she didn't try to get out all night long, and she never got out. But that particular night, when you looked on the camera, she was scratching her butt on the door and it pushed the door open. And so she got out like 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:30, something like that, and just kind of hung out in the hall and down here with Uno mainly. and eating hay and that kind of thing, things that normally they do all night anyway. Well, she was over there with Uno, and Uno was getting mad at her because Lanahe was over there, and Uno was kicking kind of, not hard, but she kind of kicked at the door. Well, apparently that door wasn't latched good, and when she kicked at that door, it came open. So it came open, and so Uno came out, Lanahe came out. They ended up in Hatana's stall. So that day when I got ready to let everybody out, I thought, well, they did fine. Her and Lanahe did fine in Hatana's stall, and she wasn't mean to them. Hatana wasn't mean or nothing. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to let y'all go out with them today. So I put the girls out, the pregnant girls out, and then I took Uno and Lanahe out there. And it seemed like everything was going good, and then I noticed that Hatana was herding Lanahe everywhere. He wouldn't let her leave to go to his mama, or let him leave to go to his mama. She'd make him go the other way, and she was kind of pushing him this way and that way, taking him everywhere with her. And Uno was getting frustrated. Well, then Lanahe was wanting to go nurse on his mama, and Hatana wouldn't let him. She kept making him come back to her. And so I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. So I opened the gate, and Lanahe come running in the gate because he wanted his mama, but his mama's way out there, and his mama was hollering for him, but Hatana wouldn't let him go to his mom. So then Hatana started trying to run her off when she would try to come to see Lanahe at the gate. And finally she got mad, and she kicked Hatana, or kicked at her. She didn't kick her, but she kicked at her. And she went around the long way and come running up here, and I opened the gate, and she came in. I had to shut the gate on Hatana because she was trying to get in to get Lanahe. So needless to say, they can't go out with Hatana anymore. At least until Hatana has her own baby, and then we won't have to worry about it. So, and I think that was like Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember which day though. All the days are running together right now. Plus we got hot weather for the next 7 days, so I started cutting hay today. So, well, I started yesterday, and I got through our field, about half of our field next door, and I don't know, I had a light come on the tractor, and it told me that my hydraulic fluid or hydraulic filters need to be changed. So I thought, well, as much hay as I have to cut over the next week, I need to go ahead. So then after I changed the filters today, I cut hay for about 2 hours and finished that over there, and then came back here and went live. Miss Gail, we bale hay for the cows mainly, and some the round rolls for the horses mainly. Square bales we normally buy, so. Or we have somebody that will bale them for us, and we pay him for fuel and all that and help him. So it just kind of depends. But like right now, all the pregnant girls they have to be on like straight Bermuda, some kind of straight hay. They can't be on like a mixed grass hay that might have fescue or something like that in it, because it's not good for mares that are pregnant to eat the fescue in the last couple months of their pregnancy. So they get to go out and they eat a little hay outside and stuff, but probably about the first week of September they'll be stuck inside, Hatana and Isadora. And then we have Uno. She's on alfalfa, and she eats the regular Bermuda hay too, but she's also on alfalfa. And we also have Infinito on alfalfa, because alfalfa helps with the ulcers and stuff like that. So it's easier on their stomach. So, and we used to bale more hay on our own, but last year our baler, well, two balers last year died. So um, this year I'm cutting and I rake, and then a friend of mine bales and runs the baler with his baler because I I can't afford to buy another baler. They're expensive, and I fixed the two that we have. I fixed on them and fixed on them, and it's pointless to fix on them anymore. It cost me more money to fix them than what they're actually worth. So until I find a good deal on a used baler again, we're doing it like we're doing it. So, but yeah, if you go out to some of our back on some of the page on some of our posts from last year, last summer, and the summer before, there's quite a few posts of us doing hay and stuff like that. So, yeah, it can be cheaper sometimes to buy it yourself. Um, if we only had one or two horses, it would make more sense just to buy it. But having cows and horses, the number of horses we have, and the goats, um, at least doing round bales, it makes more sense for us to do it, especially right now because round bales around here are expensive if you have to go buy them. So, but like the specialty type hay, the alfalfa, we don't grow alfalfa in Mississippi. It has to be trucked in. Um, so hay like that, it's better for us to just buy it either at like TSC or there's a couple local people around here that have trucks brought in that sell it. So, and then we don't have any fields that we do. We don't have any fields that we cut or our property next door. None of them are 100% Bermuda fields. Um, they have mixed grass in them. They have fescue and bahia and all kinds of different grass in them. So, which is good for the horses to have mixed grass. It's just not good for the mares that are pregnant to have the fescue the last couple months. So, somebody's up on the building, ain't they? And it's one of them cats. Yeah, that's what normally the hay that we have sitting over here. Well, it's on the opposite side from where I'm pointing. I'm pointing at the right place, but anyway, we normally the hay that's stacked there is Bermuda hay, and we get Bermuda hay from a local supplier. Um, and then the alfalfa, most of the time I get those. They come in the green bags. They're 50-pound compressed bag, 50-pound compressed bags from TSC. They're Stan Lee is what they are. Um, most of the time that's what I get. If I can find good alfalfa, like, and it has to be like blister beetle free and or certified. They call it certified alfalfa. If I can find that from a local person that's had it trucked in from out west or whatever, um, Uno likes that better than the compressed alfalfa. The compressed alfalfa always has more dust and stuff in it from alfalfa dust in it, which they'll still eat. She doesn't like it. But whatever dust is left in her container that we put it in, I can take that dust, add water to it, and it makes like a mash. And sometimes she'll eat it, but Mira, Hatana, Isadora, they'll all eat it. So that way we don't. No, we can't plant alfalfa here. Alfalfa would die here. Um, I know somebody that plants it every year here. He plants some, but they have to drill to plant it, and then he has to redo it every year because it dies. Um, and our climate is just it's not our soil and our climate is just not conducive to alfalfa. So it doesn't work well here. Now that being said, Bermuda grass, Bahia grass, those type grasses, they grow great here. Um, and I know it's hot out west, but it's different. It's not the same. People always want to say, "Oh, well, I'm in Las Vegas and it's 112 degrees." Well, that's true. It is 112 degrees in Las Vegas, but our 98 degrees is just as hot as their 112 degrees. So it's just a different type heat, and then our weather's different, and it just doesn't grow well here. Now, some places up in Tennessee grow a little of it, but again, they don't. They have to plant every year to do it. So. Yeah, see, mine don't like orchard grass, except Uno will eat, she'll eat alfalfa orchard grass mix that you get from Stan Lee in the compressed bales. Sometimes she'll eat that better than she will the straight alfalfa. But if I put Bermuda in there with the alfalfa orchard grass, she'll pick the alfalfa out and she won't eat the orchard grass. And then she'll eat the Bermuda. So I just give her Bermuda and I give her alfalfa. And I give her about half and half. And she seems to do good with that. Infinito's the same way. Now, Infinito won't touch the orchard grass at all. Infinito will eat straight alfalfa, or he will eat Bermuda, or he'll eat a mixed grass hay too. But he won't eat the orchard grass. And Infinito's funny. Everybody's like, oh, well, you can give this to help keep his weight and all of this, because he's a hard keeper, Infinito is. And everybody's like, oh, well, you can give him this supplement and this supplement, but you can't. If you find a food that Infinito eats, you have to give him that food. You can't add things to it. You can't put this supplement in there or this supplement, because he'll stop eating his food. He won't eat it. So I can't put like joint supplement on his food. When we first started doing it, he would eat it, but then he quit. He won't eat it. So now I have to give him a syringe in his mouth of joint supplement, because that's the only way to get him to take it. He's really picky about his food. And then we have other horses that they'll eat whatever you take to them. Moonshine, I don't. You could probably take dirt to Moonshine. He'd probably eat it. I don't know. He'll eat anything you give him. Mira, she's the same way. She'll eat anything. Hatana will eat pretty much anything. Isadora is very picky about her food. You can't add things to hers because she thinks you're trying to trick her. So we just, I don't try to add anything to Isadora's food. If I have to give her, the only thing I can add to her food is we have a supplement. It's actually minerals. It's like salt and minerals. And it comes in like a 50-pound bag. And pretty much all the horses will eat that on their food. But that's the only thing you can put on hers. Anything else, and she won't eat her food. Sabado, he eats anything. He don't care. Whoops. He doesn't care at all. He'll eat anything. Yeah, Infinito's a hard keeper, but we love him, but he's still a hard keeper. I get frustrated at him some days because he'll stand there and he won't eat. He's too busy trying to see what's going on outside. And then he'll finally eat. But Uno, I can put her food in her bucket in the morning, and used to, she wouldn't eat it before she went out. she'd eat a little, but she'd leave it and she'd go outside. And when she came back in, she'd eat it, and then you put her night food in there and she'd eat that too. But since she's been going out here with Lenahe during the day, I put her food in her bucket. She eats a little bit, and then that's what that red pail is out there. I take the rest of her food out there, and she eats it during the day. So, thank you, Susan. El Dorado eats everything. Everything he can think of. He doesn't. El Dorado does not discriminate when it comes to food. He doesn't care what it is, he'll eat it. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Teresa, for the gifts. Thank you, Miss Pat, for the gifts. Thank you, Susan. Everybody did good at the show. Yeah, he's on the seafood diet. Anything he sees. He likes that food. Lenahe's getting that way. He likes it too. Illinois, the Illinois show is like August the 14th, I think. I think we're going on the 13th or 14th. I can't remember. Let me see. I can never remember. Yeah, we're going on the 14th, I think. The show is actually, no, we're going on the 13th because the show is 14th, 15th, and 16th. So we're going on the 13th of August to the show in Illinois. And right now, Dorado and Moonshine are going. I don't see that changing unless something happened or something. And then Uno is also scheduled to go. Unless something changes, her and Lenahe will be going to. So, but we shall see. Typically 5 to 6 months old. Honestly, you can wean one at 4 months old. By the time they're 4 months old, they're eating feed, drinking water, eating hay. And then on top of that, the milk that they get from mom's not really milk, it's just water by now. By 4 months, it's just water. In fact, it's almost water now, to be honest with you. But for them to develop some manners and stuff like that, it's good to wait at least till they're at least 4 months old. Typically, we try between anywhere from 4 to 6 months and try to stay around 5 months. It just depends. Sometimes you have special situations, like Perfecto was a special situation because right about the time he was supposed to start weaning, he hurt himself, and the vet said don't wean him because they didn't want to stress him out. So he ended up not getting weaned for, I don't know, he was probably almost 8 months old before he got weaned. So it kind of depends on each horse. Lenahe's a big boy. I would expect by the time we get back when we get back from Illinois, he will be 4 months old. I would expect probably about mid-September that we would start weaning him. So he'll probably be around 5 months old probably. Now we're going to start, normally when I ride her and work with her to get her ready for the shows, Heather takes Lenahe out and works with him. But she can see him the whole time. Like he's in the arena with her and she can see him the whole time. We're going to start doing it a little different to where she can't see him the whole time. Like maybe have him in the round pen, her in the arena. And then gradually work back to where he's not even out there with her. And we think that will help some at the show. Because at the Illinois show, we don't have the luxury of taking him up to the rail for the class. I mean, we can take him up where they go in, but it's hard for him to see her. It's hard for her to see him. So we want to try to fix all that before we go. And I think we'll be able to. She does pretty good away from him, but in short bursts. But I think another month or so she'll do even better away from him, as long as she knows we're bringing her back to him, you know. But the good thing about there is when we're in the warm-up area, before we go in the class, she can see him because he can go. Hang on a minute. I got a puzzle piece. Sorry. I had a puzzle piece. Sorry. But he can go in the warm-up area where she is, so she'll be able to see him too. So. Yeah, he always, if you watch the cameras, when he's outside, he likes to walk up and down that board all the time. So, in fact, that sign that's laying on the board, every time I put it up, he knocks it back over on the board. And then he walks down the board, steps over the sign, and keeps going. So, he does like to walk up and down that board, which is good. It's good for him to get used to that when he's young. So, thank you, Cindy, for the gifts. Hey, Glennis, how are you? Thank y'all for liking the live. I appreciate it. Y'all remember the little bitty chickens? That's the red chicken with all the babies. They done got big. And she still has all 7 of them. She hadn't lost any of them. I mean, she loses them for like an hour and then they show back up, so. They're getting water. They've been drinking a lot of water because it's hot. All the chickens are, it's just hot. No, Infinito goes out by himself. He doesn't go out with Sabato right now. Infinito hasn't been playing nice with the other horses when he goes out because Infinito has been breeding, and now he thinks that every time a horse walks by that they want him to breed, and he's been ugly to the other stallions, quite ugly. We had to put another board up between him and Sabato. He's just, it's because he's been breeding, and that's all it is. But it's just where he doesn't play well with the other boys, so we don't want him getting hurt and we don't want them getting hurt, so he goes out by himself. The only stallion that goes out, well, the only 2 stallions that go out with anybody, Sabato goes out with the geldings and the mares sometimes. Today he didn't, but the last 2 days he did. Moonshine goes out with Dorado sometimes. The last 2 days he did. Today he didn't. Um, Dorado and Moonshine, though, they get along really good because they ride beside each other in the trailer um, all the time. When we go to shows or whatever, they ride beside each other in the trailer. And then at the shows, they're usually stalled beside each other. So they they don't have an issue with going out together. Um, we haven't put Sabado out with Dorado because it's two stallions, and I don't want to take a chance on one of them getting hurt. So Tyson's out in the back pasture all the time. So sometimes he's out there with Dorado and Moonshine. Sometimes he's out there with Infinito. Um, Even if Infinito or Dorado wanted, or Moonshine wanted to catch Tyson, they couldn't catch Tyson. Tyson's way too fast for them to catch him. So, like, way too fast. And we've been letting Diamante go out in the front pasture, and he still kind of thinks he's a stallion, even though he's a gelding. But the first day he went out, he tried to boss El Dorado, and that didn't work. And he figured out he can't boss El Dorado. And then he tried to boss Donnie, get down, Boomer, and that didn't work. Both of them showed him real quick they're going to kick him if he messes with them. So then he went over to where the mares were, and Hatana kicked at him once. And then he left. And then he came back, and that's when Mira started chasing him around the pasture, and she chased him probably for 20 minutes. Then he goes out with Sabado, and he's going to try to boss Sabado. And he did boss Sabado a little bit, but Sabado walked up to him like he was going to groom him and grabbed him by the neck and just held onto his neck and wouldn't let go. And then finally, he lets go, and Diamante just walked off. Well, then later on, he tried chasing Sabado, and I guess he was mad and wanted to chase somebody, so he tried chasing Sabado, and Sabado's running full out. Diamante, he can't run full out. He doesn't have much leg extension, and then he busted his butt in the pasture sliding down, trying to chase Sabado, so he hasn't done that anymore. Today, he was trying to chase Moonshine a little bit. He can't even catch Moonshine, so... and because Moonshine hadn't been out there with him, today's the first day Moonshine went out with him, and he can't catch him either. So he's learning that he's not going to be the boss. Yeah, Draco and Perfecto are doing good. And we got a little bit of a breeze at least today. Not a lot, but a little bit. No, it's not raining here. It might be raining somewhere else, but it's not raining here. It might rain here, but I hope it don't. But luckily, I hadn't baled any hay yet, so. Don't come over here trying to take nothing, chicken. I don't got nothing for you. Lenahe, you gonna come back? Oh yeah, it's extremely dry around the barn. In fact, if it rained right now, I wouldn't even think the riding area would even get wet. It would probably soak the water in so fast because it's so dry. Hot and dry. Isadora is doing good. She's out in the pasture. Everybody's out in the pasture except for uh, Dorado, Sabado, and Infinito. They're all in the barn. And of course, Uno's right here, but she's outside. So. She's waiting on me to let her in. The chickens are all over drinking water. That's why they're all over here. Because I filled that water up again. They're all over here drinking water. That and it's hot. And they're like sitting in this hall because the fan's going. And it blows air through here. But they drink a lot of water right now. Uno does too. She drinks almost, I don't know if you can see it, that big red bucket right there. I fill it up every day when she goes outside, and she drinks almost the entire bucket while she's out. Yeah, Lenahe's going to be dark like his mama is. Now, I don't think Isadora will be quite as protective this time with the baby as she was the first time. But who knows? Can't ever tell. Thank you, Shore Girl. I know someone that had a horse that every time she had a baby, when they have the baby, you need to go in and you got to check the umbilical and do some other stuff, enema, all that kind of stuff. Every time they would go in to try to check the baby, the mama would try to kick them, and I mean hurt them. So every time she had a baby and they had to go in to check the baby or do anything with the baby, it took two grown men and a sheet of plywood to pin her in a corner so she couldn't get loose and hurt somebody while they messed with the baby. Every time she had a baby. So some horses are just like that, very protective. I don't think Isadora is that bad. But some horses don't want you fooling with their babies. So, just like some cows don't want you fooling with their babies. Some cows don't care. You can walk up, pick the calf up, check the calf, do whatever. Tag the calf, everything. Mama don't care. She just stands there and watches. But some of them will get after you quick. So, it just depends. Thank y'all for liking the live. Well, the mayor's let Donnie and El Dorado stand down there with them. They're letting them stand down there. I don't know. I'm gonna try to flip it and see if we can see them. Hang on, because I can't zoom the other way. I don't know how's that one work. There we go. All right, let me see. I gotta tilt that. Oops. See, the mayors are down there in the corner, but they got El Dorado and Donnie down there, and they're letting them stand down there with them. So, and they're way down in that corner. I'm trying to show YouTube too. But they always go there. They have shade in other spots in the pasture, but they always go there when I'm in the barn because they think they're going to get to come in. And everybody always is like, how come your horses are in the barn? Why do you bring them in the barn? Because they like to come in the barn. They're not made to come in the barn. They like to come in the barn. The only reason we actually bring them in the barn is because we need to check them every day and make sure nothing's happened, nobody's got hurt. Like Perfecto, when he hurt himself when he was a baby, if we didn't bring him in the barn every night with his mama, we wouldn't have known he got hurt. And it could have been a lot worse than what it was. Same thing with Draco when he clipped his artery when he was in the pasture one day, running or doing whatever he was doing. If we hadn't have brought them in the barn at night, we wouldn't have known that he did that. And it would have ended really bad probably. So they do stay out all night sometimes. Sometimes we let them stay in during the day and we let them stay out at night. Like if it starts getting really, really bad hot during the day, like this weather, it's hot, but this is normal weather for us. If it got extremely hot for like a week straight where we were in the 102, 3 range, 104 range, like sometimes happens with our humidity and stuff, then we would leave them in the barn in the shade all day with the fans. And then in the evening time, we would turn them out. Or if bugs were really bad during the day, we would turn them out at night. And then when we go out of town, a lot of times, most of them stay out at night. Most of them don't stay in. Most of them are out while we're out of town. Most of the time. Except special cases like Infinito or, Infinito. Infinito and Diamante were the only two in the barn when we went out of town this last time. So, number one, it helps with the people that are taking care of the horses. And then number two, we weren't comfortable letting Diamante go out with everybody while we weren't here until we saw how he was going to act. And then Infinito can't go out with everybody else. So, but Sabado stayed out with the girls and Donnie and El Dorado the whole time we were gone. And there's been evenings that we went to let them in and 1 or 2 horses came in to eat and the others stood out there and didn't want to come in, and we just let them stay out. If they don't want to come in, they don't have to come in. But 9 times out of 10, when you open that gate at night, they're coming in. They do like being out, but they also like being in. But y'all will see there's times that we leave them out at night. I mean, if you went back and looked, there'd be posts from where we left them out at night and brought them in the daytime. And then sometimes we might be off somewhere local and be planning on getting home at 8 or 8:30 and letting the horses in, and we don't end up getting home till 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And Then a lot of times we'll feed whatever horses are in the barn, let the others stay out overnight, and then bring them in the next morning. But it just kind of depends. It just kind of depends. Heather is hanging out with some girl, I think 3 girls she went to high school with. They do it every year. Well, all right, y'all. We're going to try to go live tomorrow afternoon around 5. It might be before, it might be 4 instead of 5. But we are going to do treats tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So if you're going to get treats, please do that by noon tomorrow or so. I have to go in the next few minutes down the road to do a PMF treatment on a horse. So, and I apologize, but I forgot all about it when I sent the announcement out yesterday. I didn't look at my calendar. And the crazy thing is, I talked to Heather when she put it on the calendar 3 days ago. I just didn't remember it. So, anyway, I will see y'all tomorrow, and I hope y'all have a good evening. And thank y'all for hanging out with us on the live. And thank y'all for hanging out with Uno and Lunaje. Y'all have a good night.